progress in San Diego. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. My name is Walter Davis, and I'm your host. We're going to be conducting an interview today with Farhad Sorourifar on America, Solar Saves America, excuse me. And I also want to bring to your attention that you can see here my computer is on the table. There's a capacity to interact with us during our broadcast live. So if you find an interest to become part of our broadcast remotely and ask questions, then simply look at the website that's going to come up toward the end of the broadcast and a telephone number for more information about how you can become involved with our live webcast. But I'm really honored to have you on my show today. You've been behind the camera and volunteering now for how many years have you been involved? How many months? About a year, right?
Yeah, about a little over a year.
Over
a year and a half.
So it's a real pleasure that I get a chance to interview you. Now, tell me something about your background. How did you get involved with solar power?
Well, it all started when I moved to this country when I was about 13 years old. And there was the gas shortage back then, the gas shortage of the 70s. And made an effect in me that people were standing in lines seeing that there's a shortage of gas. And actually for blocks, cars are parked and waiting to get gas. So I was thinking, there were some alternatives there, and I was a car enthusiast. And I learned about electric cars, and that actually you can plug it in and you can drive around just as well as a regular car. And so in high school, in my senior year in high school, I did a report on how to build an electric car. Mm-hmm. And I was an enthusiast back then, and I went to college and studied electronics, and I learned about solar power, and I actually started to convert a car, regular old Volkswagen, to electric car. And that was in Ohio. So basically how it started, that's where it started. And when I was working on this car, converting into electric car, it was in the middle of the winter. And it's pretty cold in Ohio, and there was 2 feet of snow. Obviously, I couldn't work. So I was thinking, what if my apartment complex had a carport, and there was solar on the top with a charge point underneath, that we wouldn't have to use even coal to charge my electric car. That's where it all started. So after college, we started an organization called the National Association of Solar and Electric Vehicles. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of it. And we found out that, at that age, I didn't know much about the politics behind oil and coal and what it takes to move things forward. So that's how it all started.
I see. Now, what country are you from?
I was born in Iran.
Born in Iran. And you grew up in Ohio, you said? Here?
No, actually, I went to high school in Baltimore, Maryland, and then I moved to Columbus, Ohio for college, and I lived there for a while, and I moved to California, this beautiful, sunny San Diego, about 17 years ago.
And so having said that, with this area being, having such abundant sunlight, obviously this is a rich environment in terms of developing solar power.
Yes.
So tell me, why is it that we haven't exploited that? Why is it that we don't have a more, abundant or a more abundant use of solar power in this community?
Well, up to now, it's been cost has been a factor, but in addition to that, the major factor behind it is the oil and coal companies and their high-power lobbyists that they are supporting the politicians. And the politicians are supporting the oil and coal industry. So now we've come to the point that we're facing these environmental crises, economical crisis, and national security, or I should say national insecurity, because of overusage of oil from overseas. So we're at a point that everybody understands we must move on. This is a time that the electric production and automobile is evolving into the next stage.
So that's a real catchy name, Solar Saves America. Tell me more about that.
Well, we We transformed from National Association of Solar and Electric Vehicles to Solar Saves America, because that's basically how we see it. Because we can create clean energy for our buildings and fuel our automobile by this abundance of sun that we have, especially in southwest of the United States. Now, in countries in Europe, for example, Germany has as much sun as Alaska, and they're the most advanced country in the world when it comes to using the solar power. And
Alaska?
Germany has
Germany.
as much sunlight as Alaska.
Got you. So you're saying that the Germans don't have an abundance of sunlight, yet they're much more advanced in terms of their ability to take advantage of it.
Definitely.
Why is that?
Because I believe it's their political structure versus our political structure right now.
What do you foresee as being the cost of that? I mean, if these foreign countries continue to pursue development of electric cars and solar power, what do you see being the price of that, if they're more advanced than us?
I believe the cost of solar and electric vehicle will drop dramatically as we get into production and we move up to scale. Right now, just like we had the arms race in the Cold War, or we had the race to the moon, right now there is a race in development of renewable energy and electric vehicles. That is what they call Cars 2.0. That's the next generation of cars. It's going to be electric. Now the point is how we're going to fuel these cars. And we can't afford coal because coal is very destructive. As we know, the CO2 is creating greenhouse gas effect and the environmental disaster in our waterways and our land. And so the price of what we spend for overseas oil, which is about $700 billion a year, and the $300 billion we spend in the military to secure our national interest and all the wars, and the $72 billion that we've been subsidizing, these 100-year-old industries, the two, coal and oil. We just spent $72 billion in subsidies in the last 4 years. And yet we spend less than $1 billion for development of solar, electric. Now this is totally lopsided, and it's 100% due to the oil and coal industries and their lobbyists. And of course, we as the consumers, we need their products, mainly for creating lights and transportation. So, but there is an answer, is a clean abundance of energy versus a toxic and scarce old fuel from hell, what I call it, with the environmental disaster side effects.
So what would be the purpose or the mission of your organization?
Basically, we're educating people. It's a mind shift. Most people don't know the difference between solar pool, solar water heating, or solar electric. And when they think about electric cars, they think about limited range, like go from here to down the street, or it's good for urban. Doesn't go at the highway speed. But all those are old perceptions. Right now, we have electric cars that goes 300 miles on a single charge. It goes over 100 miles an hour, and it has no maintenance virtually, other than changing batteries every so many years. And you never have to worry with the electric car. You never need to worry about everything from mufflers and exhaust and tune-up and heater hoses and wires and all that stuff. So it is a very effective way of transportation. And
so
the
not
purpose
only
of our organization, I'm sorry, the answer to your question was
let me go back. Let me before we go forward. So not only is it more economical in terms of energy,
yes,
we'll save money on maintenance. So there's not going to be oil changes.
That's right.
It's not going to be mufflers.
That's right.
It's not going to be pollution.
That's right.
What else? You don't have to worry about a coolant system. Do you have a coolant?
That's right. No coolant system.
No coolant system.
Yeah. No, like the antifreeze and radiator hose, all that stuff is going to be a water pump. All that junk in an internal combustion engine is going to be gone.
So having said that, then there must be a lot of opposition then to this new technology, because the people that make carburetors, the one that make mufflers, the ones that make the oil and the petroleum, obviously these people have lobbyists that are working against the development of solar power and electric cars. And so I'm wondering how many people really think about that part of it in terms of the economic savings of not having to have that maintenance. So with that, I want to go back to you and your statement. So the mission, can you please elaborate further on the mission of your organization?
Well, basically we are creating a coalition of enthusiasts, environmentalists, and activists that they want to make a positive change in our communities and in our nation and in our environments globally. Basically, we are supporting policies and politicians who support this technology. That's where it starts. We're creating a synergy with politicians, consumers, investors, and solar, and of course the solar and electric car industry. Mm-hmm. And it comes from understand the solution is there. Yes, there will be job losses in the internal combustion engine industries arena. However, there are going to be millions of job creation in installation of solar electric and development of electric cars, because there are about 1 billion cars in the road in the world, over 160 million in America. So all these have to be changed into, instead of this poison-producing automobile, literally it's poison coming out of our tailpipes. Carbon monoxide kills. And when you're sitting in the traffic, you're inhaling, you're getting stressed out, or it creates asthma, heart attack, lung disease, heart disease, all sorts of health problems.
So when you have a mother pushing her stroller down the sidewalk, that baby in the stroller is basically at the muffler level.
Exactly, thank you.
At these vehicles that are passing by. So
yes,
the additional benefits would be perhaps improved health.
Exactly.
We have less pollution, we have less toxins within our environment. So that's another benefit of converting to solar power and electric cars.
Electric cars, exactly.
Now, could you talk about the cost? What are we looking at in terms? You said something earlier that cost has been prohibitive. Are the components coming down in price? How do the cars compare to other cars in terms of price?
It's about the same, the cost of an electric car, maybe a little bit more. However, in the long run, you're saving a bundle. In maintenance. You don't have to maintain it as much, and you don't have to put gasoline in it. With the cost of 1 year of the money that we send overseas for oil and the wars and all the other subsidies that we spend, the cost of just this Iraq war alone could have put solar in, covered the whole United States with solar and electric cars. We could have subsidized 60–70% of this cost just by the cost of that war alone, not to even mention the oil that goes over there.
So in essence, the way that we're proceeding is barbaric.
Very much so. Now, our mission is basically in the areas of environment. How this is going to affect our country and the world and our communities is that by environment, we're going to have clean environment, because this is a clean, renewable energy, abundant, coming from the heavens. In terms of environment, in terms of economy, we're going to create millions of jobs nationwide. In terms of energy, which is a major thing in our country right now, we're going to be an energy independent country. Okay? And of course, the health aspect of it. And at the same time, we're going to create a infrastructure for electric cars. For example, we're going to have charge stations when we put solar carports in office parking lots, in the parking lots for shopping malls and office buildings, in their parking lots. You can go to work during the 8 hours that you're at work. You can be plugging in your electric car to be charged. When you go home, you plug it in. When you go to a shopping mall, you're shopping, you can plug it in. And when that solar panel is not charging your electric car, it's going to be producing electric for that building.
Now, there are programs in places like Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, where we have previously convicted people coming out of prison and then getting jobs within 2 weeks
Yes,
in the solar power industry, and they're getting good paying jobs and jobs that are going to have longevity because they have a future. Is that not so?
That's right. That's right. There are some organizations right now in California, especially in Los Angeles. We have one in San Diego. Due to the public access, I can't mention their names, but they are training. This is the hottest market right now. If you think of how things, the history of automobile, for example, 100 years, 10 years ago, 100 years ago, we went from horse and buggies to automobile. It was a shift. And horse ranchers had to either go out of business or get into a new thing, or the kerosene or candle makers. We went from kerosene and candles to electric. So the similar thing is happening right now. We're going from the internal combustion engine to electric cars. We're going from coal and nuclear, the fossil fuel, into creating electric by renewable energy. And this is the shift that's happening right now. We just want to accelerate this shift, this evolution, because the last thing we want to do is just, because if we're not leading, we're going to be falling behind, and China is going to beat us and other countries in Europe. And we're back to square one, just like what we did with oil. Now, state of our economy is not in a good shape, as you know. And this is the engine that's going to propel our economy forward, in addition to our environment and national security and everything else that goes with it.
We're talking about job creation.
Yes.
And if we miss this opportunity to build our infrastructure and take advantage of this, then the jobs may go overseas. And we'll be importing electric cars from overseas.
Exactly. Electric cars, batteries, and we need to accelerate this development. We need battery manufacturing companies nationwide. China and Korea, they're way ahead of us right now in terms of developing batteries. We need to accelerate this development. We need to get into this development of electric cars. Yes, it is extremely important for job creation, for economy, and our national security, and energy independence.
So if you want further information, you can go to the website at the end of the broadcast and learn more about your program. Now, you need funding, correct?
Yes, we do. We are also supporting, we do need funding for get our message out, of course. We do need people's involvement. And by this money that we're raising, we're promoting the solar, we're educating in the college level, high school level, and also in the corporations, just speaking on this topic, that we need to educate the public, basically. And we're supporting the coalition of the solar companies, so people that don't know about solar, they can learn on our website about solar and find reputable solar installers in their community. And get multiple bids, and just basically free education by their local solar installers.
So you're working to put together the consumers, educate the public, build a coalition with people that are manufacturers of solar panels and electric cars, people that are involved, the scientists, engineers that are involved with that. You want to put all those people together?
Well, the industry is together pretty much. There are some organizations that they are, but basically what we're doing is bringing the industry to the people and creating that synergy, like I said, with the politicians, because we need to support the politicians who are supporting this technology. And we need to raise money for PAC money for supporting the politicians. Yes, and for education, and that's our mission.
Okay, so what do you need the public to do to help you?
They can go on our website, Solar Saves America, and first of all, learn and know that they did the research just a while back that 92% of people are pro renewable energy. And yet, 92% of our energy is being created by fossil fuel. 92% of people want solar. They like solar. They just don't know enough, and it's the upfront cost. Now, this is a technology that once you put it up on your roof, First of all, it has like a 30 to 40% return on your investment. And then once you install it, whether it's on the roof or backyard, it's going to create electric for the next 35, 40 years.
Now that's simply amazing. So it's going to pay for itself.
Many times over.
Keep our environment clean, develop new jobs.
Yes.
And propel us into the future.
Exactly. Now we need the public support. By educating the public is going to support this development and acceleration of this, what they call evolution that's happening in the energy and automobile.
Outstanding. And so, excuse me, people that are previously convicted and need to have jobs, it's going to stop them from returning to crime because they can get a high-paying or a good-paying job.
Exactly.
That's going to have a future. Many of us have, kids that are in their 30s and 20s and teens that are unemployed.
Yes.
So we need new jobs. We need an infusion of green technology, do we not?
Yes.
Do you see ways of cooperating with other forms of alternative energy like geothermal? What's your take on that? Geothermal and wind? What are some of the others?
Well, geothermal and wind are the two other ones. Of course, there's the wave energy, but I'm all for it. I'm all for renewable energy. They all have their own place. For example, I love wind technology. However, you can have a huge windmill in the city or in your backyard. That's the drawback. It's good for way out in the desert to have wind farms. However, by the time it gets to the city, there's about a 30% energy loss in the transmission lines. With solar, it's on the spot, on location, on top of the roof or in the parking lot as form of a solar carport. And as far as the training, the previous, people that just came out of prison, previously convicted, right or wrong, it is a fantastic opportunity because they'll feel good about themselves, they learn a trade, they earn money, they feel that sense of involvement in the community. And this is a job that's going to be around for decades and for next several generations to come.
How can we lose by pursuing solar power?
How can we lose? The only way we're going to lose is if we are not involved and we're not active and we don't pursue this at a faster pace and expand it.
Now, there are new technologies coming out. I saw where it was possible to embed something that looks like a piece of film into a tile.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I just almost forgot. You see this? This is I don't know if your camera can this. This is a flashlight, right? It's just a flashlight. And it's a flashlight with a little solar panel over here. I don't know, there it is. And you never have to change the battery in this flashlight again. This battery continuously gets recharged by this little solar panel. And it's a keychain, it's a solar panel, and it's a flashlight. Now, they're creating solar panels for the back of our cell phones. I've got to hide this name. So our cell phone, we can have a little solar panel on the back of a cell phone or back of the laptop, so it can be charging as we're using it or if we are not using it. It's a small recharge, but it's better than not being charged at all. Or for example, this flashlight. We never have to change the battery in this flashlight again because it's continuously getting recharged.
And I have one of those. I keep it in my car, and it charges in the daytime, and so I have a flashlight to use at night if I have to. But it also has a crank where I can crank it and recharge it if I run out of the solar power that's stored in the battery. So there's some
generate,
generate, yes. Yeah. So this is pretty fantastic. So, and this has LED lights, which are very low power.
Very efficient. The most efficient lighting there is. That's right.
Yeah. So this is just an example of how solar energy can be used much more efficiently. Because obviously, if you had batteries in here, you'd have to throw the batteries into a dump.
That's
right.
Have to
go into the trash.
Exactly.
So we're going to have less trash and less toxic waste as well.
Exactly.
So again, another environmental concern. We're down to our last 3 minutes. What would you like to, and we're going to have you come back to the show again. Obviously, you got too much information.
My pleasure.
But what do you want to convey to the public? Can you summarize what you want to tell the public about what you're doing?
Well, I strongly urge people to get involved, get active, and support this technology. change efficiencies, conservation is very important. Change the light bulbs into LED or fluorescent, but also you have to call the politicians, call their congressman, the senator, to let them know that they're supportive of solar energy and electric cars. Because the politicians that are getting supported by the oil and coal industry, they're supporting the coal and oil industry. So they have to understand that the constituents are supportive of this renewable energy and this new generation of automobile that's coming out. That's number, and they can go to our website, which I cannot mention.
You will
probably. Yeah.
Want more information? You can go to the website for the Community Coalition, which will appear at the end of this broadcast. And I really want to thank you for the information that you brought and you shared with us. I want to encourage the audience to look at information regarding solar power and electric cars to educate yourself. We plan to establish programs within the San Diego County Community Coalition to work with previously convicted people, to develop jobs, to help fight against poverty. We ask for your help and support in this area. We ask that you look at becoming part of our television crew and also coming aboard here to be interviewed as part of the Progress in San Diego and the other 4 shows that we have on Cox Communications right now. I want to thank you very much for being a part of our audience. I want to encourage you also to become involved with our interactive web conferencing, in which we are broadcasting over the internet. And again, all the information regarding these programs and our connections can be found at the Community Coalition website. And you can call directly to me at the phone number, which is going to be provided at the end of the broadcast. I want to thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you come back again next week. We try to cover positive stories, people that are doing positive things within the community, and people that are making a real difference within San Diego County, because we are the story, and we are attempting to take control of our own media. Again, this is Walter Davis. Thank you very much. Okay. Covered. Everything. Pretty good, huh?
That was pretty good.